right, this is Mark Adams, and I'm here with Coach Cofield and my main man Andrew Juke back with us for week number 3, and we are the Extra Point presented by 4Quartersonline.com. Man, I have really enjoyed the first couple of weeks of the regular season. I know y'all had a great opportunity to catch a couple of games. For me, I feel like we're starting to see a couple of teams that have really separated themselves and a lot of surprises. Definitely like what I've been seeing out there in Cottondale. And then don't look now, but Franklin County is 2-0. So we got a lot to talk about and get into in this particular episode. So I'm really looking forward to it. But before, we got to send some condolences, man. Everybody who built their hopes up in the beginning of the season that's rocking the Garden and Gold, man, I'm sorry. There's nothing we can say. Nobody saw this coming. And it's really disheartening, but I have to think that there's still some talent there on the roster. We got a lot of young guys. Love to see Micah Danza get in the game, but man, those first 2 games for Florida State have been absolutely just basura, Spanish for garbage. So.
Well, Mark, as a coach for a long time, I've seen this kind of thing happen, and but the best thing about Florida State now is they got a whole season to go. You're not talking about the season almost over. I think they got like 10 games left, 10, 11 games. Mm-hmm. And they can turn the season around, and all they got to do is come in second place in the ACC. And I see that Miami plays Georgia Tech. They got a couple of losses. Clemson plays Boston College, I think. So they got a chance. All they got to do is win the rest of their games. Now, that's easier said than done.
Yeah, that was just tough to watch over Labor Day. You got your 3-day weekend lined up. You relax. You got something to eat. I barbecued. I fried some fish, and then I had to cut that on, and I was just like, oh, man. So,
but you got time. They got a whole week to reorganize, get set up. I'm like this. I can remember a long time ago when we went to state, we lost. We were like 1-4, and we went on a roll, and it can happen.
It can.
It can. And all it takes is to win that first game, and then you get something positive happen. It's not over. It's close, but it ain't over.
It feels like it, but it's not. It's not. I don't know if you want to weigh in on how things look, but if you're a committee member, what do you do?
That's all.
I mean, yeah, committee. I got some bad blood for the committee, Mark, but still I harbor some animosity from last year for real. But like Coach says, you got to win games. And I mean, he says it all the time, and you got to put yourself in a scenario. It's infectious, like you said. And I'm glad that, and it's tough, I think, for people who don't watch a lot of high school ball to conceptualize. But when you're not taking care of business in the trenches, it's hard to do anything. And I think that's kind of the most glaring weakness. And it's like, you want to point out the quarterback, you want to point out all this other stuff, but if teams are making you look bad in the trenches and they can do whatever they want to do, they're going to do whatever they want to do. And just like that, Mr. JT, for real, but it's tough. And not to jump ahead, I think the determining factor of who's going to be the best team in the state, that game's going on Saturday, gentlemen. So we may need to turn the page on FSU.
Yeah, man.
I think those 2 teams who are playing at 6 on Saturday, one of those 2 might be the best in the state.
Yeah, it's rough. You got Hurricanes fans already calling for the state champs, like Gator fans and FSU fans consoling each other. And then then you find out that the music was terrible. The Marching Chiefs can't play on the War Chant on 3rd down. All kinds of weird stuff going on. So it just seems like from top to bottom, things need to kind of be rearranged. But man, I sure would like to see Jordan Travis back in the mix. I wish she had 1 more year eligibility left.
I've seen DJ play before now, and that guy who played on Saturday was not the one I saw for the past few years. He looks like he can't run fast. He don't have any quickness. He's struggling. He don't know what to do. His receivers are dropping the ball, and that's disheartening to a quarterback. If they catch those balls, we might have a different take today, they might win the football game.
Yeah, you totally changed the momentum of the ball game.
And and then that overthrow. I think everybody remembers him overthrowing the ball in the end zone. It looked real bad, but all it takes is one victory, and then you put two together, and then you put three, and the next thing you know, you're on a roll. Because believe it or not, the season's not over.
No, they could definitely run the table, but they got a lot to get fixed.
But look at
meanwhile,
in Miami, they played a tough game, but the Hurricane fans think the season is over. They got like 10, 11 more games to play. It's not over.
Absolutely.
You can win one game and lose the rest of them. You just got to play the same way every week. That's all.
We'll see what FSU can put together, but on Wanish way, the Rattlers out in front of not only the SWAC East, but also the MEAC. They've down 2 MEAC teams already. So FAMU's in really good position right now. I think Richardson is really coming into his own play, really sharp going down the stretch, especially playing from behind like that. I think FAMU really, that defensive front, these are some new guys too. They're trying to figure out how to play well together. But a lot of those core pieces from last year are still there, especially on among the defensive backs. You can see FAMU got saved by the ref being behind that camera guy, not getting the proper angle. But I don't think it mattered going down the stretch because South Carolina State had 3 more chances to stick it in the end zone. They could not get past that Rattler defense. So the dark cloud defense prevailed on Saturday.
But one thing I like, I love the quarterback FAMU has, Richardson. He has a soft touch on the ball. He makes those plays. He's the kind of stocky guy that runs around real well. And he looks like nothing stresses him out. They get behind, and FAMU, the team just like, hey, let's go next down. And which is impressive as when you're looking at a team. And they lost I think they lost like 50 players from last year's team, and they replaced them. And I think they did a good job. I hope Coach Cozy has a successful season, being an alumni and all. I'm happy to see what they're doing, and I hate that we got to play the almighty Hurricanes this weekend. But hey.
I think FAMU can really put a lot of people on notice if they put up a strong showing against Miami. And, I think Miami definitely is looking for a cakewalk. And I think FAMU, Richardson, having already put a lot of stuff under his belt when he was down in South Florida, got a lot of experience. I think he might be able to steal a couple of plays. And FAMU can really put up a pretty good fight, if they play well. Of course, Miami's on the roll right now, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and you go back to him, of course, Central Michigan and down in Florida, guys. He played some of his best ball against the best teams. Like, you look at his tape and going back when they played Penn State, they were 15, and I know he had a couple other top 15 top games, but he's not afraid of the spotlight, and he can sling it. He's ready for the moment. And, if Miami's slipping a little bit, like you said, Mark, I think FAMU can come in there and make some noise. Are they going to pick the upset? That's why they play the game. But he's fun to watch. I'm with Coach. He can ball.
Yeah, I really like A&M's chances to repeat, get back to the Celebration Bowl. I think they've got a lot of green lights in front of them if they can stay healthy. So we got half the city's kind of up and down, but we still got some great football here on the college football level in Tallahassee. So I'm looking forward to that. Man, I hate to, kind of going on a sour note like this, but man, this was just kind of crushing to hear the news. Coach Hankerson, put up a post, and, I had to text him right away just to be like, hey, what's going on? But, man, Javon Wooten, one of the standout members of those great Quentin Lewis teams, which, you hate to see somebody so young like that pass away, but cancer sucks. It is terrible, but, prayers up to his family and his people. And really the Rickers community. The Raider community is such a tight-knit community. You don't see that, most places. A lot of times guys graduate and it's just you kind of maintain your connection with your coach, but that's not the case at Rickers. once you wear that blue and gold, and Coach Cofield, you know about this because y'all still meet together.
Yeah,
it's a lifelong brotherhood. So, man, hate that Javon Wooten was just such a great kid, but man, that Raider community, man, it's just something special.
Yeah, it's kind of tough when you told me that. I mean, we just saw the kid play a few years ago, and he's gone now. Sorry to hear that. Our condolences goes out to his family. I really hate to hear that.
Yeah, it's tough. He was part of those great squads, kind of that Marcus Riley, DJ Phillips area when I first started getting into the scene here in Tallahassee. So he was one of the players that, we had the deal with Rick that we were doing the games pretty much every week. And, you saw that name come up and just the joy that he brought to the game for the team. Obviously, I didn't know him personally, but anytime you see a young man go down 24, 25, it breaks your heart, guys.
Yeah, just a terrible disease, but more importantly, that, like I was saying, that community over there at Rickard, Southside, man, we are thinking about you all, and of course, prayers for the Wooten family. Yeah, it's just something special about the blue and gold. Like I can't that you don't see that kind of camaraderie at most schools. You don't see that blend between team and community the same way you do at Rickards. And so I know that they are definitely thinking about Javon and the Wooten family. So, man, and our thoughts are with them as well. So, just kind of hate it, but it's one of those things where hug your loved ones, man, because you never know. You never know.
Right.
So, Coach, this came out last week, and I texted McGriff a little bit, and we had a great conversation in the summer. But man, these numbers here for highest paid high school football coaches in Georgia has been on fire. Man, the average salary hovering somewhere around 150, 160K.
In Tallahassee, South Georgia. I mean, where?
This is all Georgia. This is all Georgia. And you see the top number at Carrollton. And Carrollton, the Carrollton people are like, nah, it's actually a little bit more than that. So because they've got staff there that, when you add those numbers up just for football operations, that's somewhere around $500,000. And when you consider the fact that most schools here in the state, this is the whole entire operating budget is going to one guy. You start looking at Lee County, some of these schools here, for me, I think the biggest thing that stood out is that you only have maybe 2 or 3 of these schools won a state championship recently. So, and I mean, within the past couple of seasons, I've talked to Coach Cole in the offseason. I talked to a lot of other people in the Georgia area. I didn't expect to see these numbers, though.
Man, you can actually take care of your family. You don't have to get a second job. They have you the way they make up for money here in the state of Florida is you coach everything just to come up with a decent salary. And I think the people when they start losing coaches going to Georgia, maybe they'll do something about it. They take it I feel bad about it because I hate to say it, but they kind of take the coaches for granted in the state of Florida. And they're one of the best states for football in the country, not getting the kind of pay that these guys are doing a tremendous job. And I think that what the assistant coaches, they make more than most of the head coaches in the state of Florida.
Yeah, it's a subject we're gonna have to get into. We're gonna have Tyrone McGriff on next week to talk about some of these disparaging differences between the two states and what's being done about it. So I'm looking forward to bringing him on. But man, this is eye opening. So it's time to go ahead and get into the rewind for week number 3. Man, we had a great showing week number 2. We had a great showing of a lot of teams, and I think we definitely are seeing pretenders separating themselves from the contenders separating themselves from the pretenders. Let's go ahead and look at some of these scores. Running it down, of course, Godby all over Leon, 59-7. That they look like old Godby.
Oh man, I figured you'd say something like that.
Of course. Man, that was one of those games where I think a lot of the frustration of just not getting over the hump really came out. And for Coach Holston and his group, I think there's just been a new revamp kind of attitude over there on Tharp Street, and it really showed up. 59-7, Cougars jumped out 50-point plus halftime lead at the half. So that was one of the most eye-opening things. Defensive back Devin Anderson, 2 pick sixes. That's definitely noteworthy. And then running back Lazarus Chambers had 318 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. So there's your offense right there.
I'm glad that one. I'm glad they waited a week to get it together because they played the Raiders last week and it was a pretty good game. But this is showing great improvement at Garvey High School. I think Coach Austin has done a great job in a short period of time. And it's hard to turn a program that's been losing for quite a while. It's hard to get kids to have the change, to come back and win, because winning is hard. It's an attitude. And look like he got him on the right path right now.
Yeah, they're rolling.
Yeah, there's definitely a new attitude with the Cougars right now, and it's definitely showing up. Meanwhile, back out in Bay County, the Bay Tornadoes still looking for that first win as they fall to Mosley 15-53. And man, the Dolphins, man, they got something cooking down there. Anytime you can start your season off with 2 big wins over your crosstown rivals, you're doing something good. For the Dolphins, I think their offensive prowess is really overwhelming right now. They've got a lot. In my opinion, they got a lot on the ball. Dolphins so dominant on offense, but man, Sammy Chisholm, 17 carries, 125 yards, 3 touchdowns for Mosley, and that really just kind of. Anytime you got a guy that's going to be able to put up 100 plus and get in the end zone more than 2 or 3 times, you're gonna win a lot of ball games. Yeah. So then let's go out to Boot Hill. Madison County falls to Lincoln, 29-7. And man, I'm not saying I'm by any means shocked by Lincoln's performance, but I definitely did not expect such a dominant opposing force by the Trojans on defense, and that's really a good sign for Lincoln going into the season now at 2-0 in one of the toughest places to play in the state.
Yeah, they're getting after it, Mark. You don't want to jump ahead, but you see the first couple of weeks, you incorporate the preseason, the strength of schedule. You know the teams that both of these two are playing. You talk about Mosley, you talk about Lincoln. I mean, if we want to jump to conclusions, I see this as a collision course, regional final written all over it. I know a long way. Coach, I know 11 weeks, right? But these teams are rolling, and it seems I don't know who's going to stop this train, to be honest, guys, on either side. But both these teams playing big, bad ball right now against good opponents. And so we'll see how far they can take it.
I'm going to be like Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. These guys, it's a long way to go in the season. And being in a situation, sometimes injuries can change things. I mean, let's get there first. These guys, the season is a long ways off, the end of the season. And you already got them in the regional finals. The coach probably tell you to hush. He said, "Don't come around my kids saying that." But the Trojans look real good. Mosley looks real good. I mean, as a coach, you want to start off good, but you want to get better every week. You don't want to get too fast, get too good, and then kind of go down later on the season. So, hey, it looks good right now. Let's talk about week 10. Then we can start making those kind of predictions.
There you go.
Yeah, I definitely think that a lot of what we're seeing right now is just the beginnings. But sometimes when you see those familiar signs, you look for what teams normally do in those type of situations. And Lincoln looks like they're putting together something special. Meanwhile, also back out in Bay County, man, this one was a thriller, but triple overtime. Blountstown pulls out the win over Rutherford, and Rutherford, Rutherford really brought it. I really think this one could have gone either way, but man, shout out to Bluntstown. And man, those underclassmen really got it done. These are freshmen and sophomores that were out there balling. Had a chance to talk to Coach Wagner, and he was just like, man, there was a moment where at one point in time, I had 9 or 10 freshmen and sophomores out there on the field. So you can see that the development level out in Bluntstown is really paying off. One of the biggest factors in that game for the Tigers was their running back. And, for the most part, this is not somebody who has a whole lot of touches in his career, but man, Kyan Martin, 36 rushes, 186 yards. And then junior Tay Dawson led the defense, 12 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss. But man, that was just a lot of grit. And, Coach Wagner really just talked about, man, his team just did not give up, hung in there. I know he wasn't expecting 3 overtimes, but man, sometimes it's like that. And his team got the job done.
It's tough. I'm looking at Rutherford. They've a few years they've been struggling, but look like Coach Floyd is getting those guys to turn around, changing the culture, and they in a battle. Going to Bluntstown, playing a game is a tough place to play. It's tough when you got these guys that used to winning. They've been in the state finals. This culture at Bluntstown is a win-win culture, and they had some great players, and Rutherford did a great job. They didn't win in regulation. They had to get beaten overtime. So hats off to Floyd and Wagner.
Meanwhile, Sewanee, big winner over Lafayette, 21-13. Bulldogs getting the first victory on the season. Then let's move out. Liberty County blanked by Mariana. And, you got to – sometimes, man, when people are hot, they're hot, man. QB RJ Mays, 12 of 17, 156 yards, 3 touchdowns for the Dogs. And then Amari Clemens. We're going to be talking about this guy a lot. 8 carries, 127 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. Alec Bashford led the defense with 9 tackles and a sack. But, man, Dogs are 2-0. And this looks like, again, you and I talked about how Mariana really had they took their bumps and bruises as underclassmen, and now this senior class is really starting to show out.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. And they're absolutely rolling. The line is vicious up front, and you've got gaping holes, and Clemens is a speedster. He's a breakaway back. I think he's up to right around 700 yards rushing, and I think he's up to 8 touchdowns on the ground. He is absolutely dangerous, but the line, man, is giving them so much space to operate, and they're having an absolute field day offensively. They put up 50 on Walton. Now they put up 35, and it's, like you said, momentum. They are rolling. We talked about winning games. Mariana's winning games in a big way.
You got them in the playoff, in the championship?
Oh, I got to check them out. I got to check out the bracket here, Coach. But they're looking like it. They're looking. If you can score 40 points a week, who's gonna stop that?
Yeah. You're right, man. You're right.
Yeah, I'm really liking the offensive production. That's just one of those things where when you have both sides of the ball clicking together, and your defense is playing good enough to win with some dominant performance, but your offense is explosive like that, you're gonna see a lot of fireworks. So let's talk about another Panhandle team that's been getting it done with explosive offense. Cottondale all over FAMU High, 56 for 14. Cofield, I know that kind of stings a little bit, but man, let's talk about what the Hornets are doing. Can't say enough about this kid, but Cameron Odom, FSU commit in baseball, has been getting it done at the quarterback position. Second straight game with more than a pair of touchdowns. This time 4 of 7 passing, 90 yards, threw it a little bit more, but 3 touchdowns in the air. Ran the ball 4 times, which is night and day from his production last week. But man, the yards were still there, 90 yards and another touchdown, accounting for 4 total. Then Jakarian Garrett, 136 yards, 8 carries and a touchdown. You just got to watch out for those 2 guys. If you can figure out a way, somehow, some way to contain those 2, you might have a ball game on your hands. But man, they just are running wild right now. Coach, I know you saw the game.
Yeah, I saw the game. It was kind of over in the first quarter. I think they put up like 30, 32 points in the first quarter. Quarterback, oh my God, he's an exceptional player, and I'm wondering why he been just playing baseball. I guess he's a great baseball player. This kid is a game changer. They
Yeah.
play he if you start studying and you can't worry about the pass, he can throw the football. He can run the football. I mean, he changed. He giving out water on the sideline. He does everything for them. I heard about this kid, but when I saw him play, I was like, man, this guy is special. And I wonder if he's thinking about playing football at the next level. Also, he's an exceptional player, and he does everything for Cottondale. And Cottondale, I'm gonna do like a juke. I'm saying, man, they're on their way to the playoffs. You know, I mean, I can't see many teams beating them. They went to Snead the week before, had a great game, and then now they came along FAMU, and it's kind of bad because back in the day, that was a guaranteed victory for us at FAMU. Now they're beating the brakes off of us. Condell, a good job. I mean, they're doing a great job turning the program around.
Meanwhile, back in the capital city, NFC picking up that first big win, 10-2 over North Bay Haven. Great defensive effort by the Eagles. Kyle Essman, 3 tackles for a loss, 2 interceptions, and 5 receptions for 84 yards, getting it done on both sides of the ball for the Eagles as they pick up that big, crucial win. Then let's go out to Perry. Man, this is a great place to see a football game. I don't know if y'all been out there, the Dorset Stadium, but it is a great place to watch a football game. And Coach Braswell and his bunch are getting it done right now. They hot. Man. Taylor County all over Wakulla in a little bit of a closer game. But man, what can you say about these Bulldogs as they take out Wakulla 27-20, and that was just a huge win. A great, I would say, a really statement win by Coach Braswell. I know he's really galvanized this group after everything. You got to think Taylor County was decimated, both from the program. They barely put together a season a year ago or a couple of years ago. Had a tough time rebounding from COVID. Hurricane took out the press box and a portion of the stadium, and just to be able to start the season 2-0 right now, I think this is probably one of the higher notes that the program has seen over in recent memory.
Yeah, I think Coach Braswell is doing a great job. I mean, when you see a team turn around in 1 year, the culture showing the culture that this is Braswell. First year, we talked at the media day. He was telling them why he came back. He came back from he was coaching in Georgia, Mark.
Yeah,
and he came back to his hometown and he wanted to turn the program around, and I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely heartening in that community out there in Perry. Fun to watch, like you said, and the perseverance. They almost went under, had to close down the program, COVID. Like you said, Mark, the natural disasters. The hurricane took down the football field. Then the other hurricane took down the baseball field, and it seems like they've been keeping a battle through. And I know they closed the lumber yard out there. It seems like all this adversity has really strengthened what is now a really resilient Taylor County. I want to see how far they can take this thing, but they're fun to watch. They're physical. They'll hit you in the mouth, and I'm all on board with Ryan Hamilton. He's a great quarterback to get it rolling here for Taylor County.
Yeah, Hamilton, 16-21, 142 yards, a pair of touchdowns. DJ McCoy, we shouted him out last week, 9 carries, 141 yards, and a touchdown. Kingston Williams, brand new to the list that we get from the coaches, but 8 catches, 96 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So man, they're when you see a different guy stepping up each week, you know you got a pretty good football team. So man, great win by the Bulldogs, taking on a very tough Wakulla team. You know that Coach Cleese, that team is very young, but they will look to bounce back next week. Moving on, Port St. Joe falls to Holmes County 36-44. Lots of scoring on this one, but the Blue Devils come out on top in this one. Then Arnold 2-0. Big win over Hamilton County, 47-14. And watch out for the Marlins. They might steal a couple of more games going down the stretch. Then we got Vernon. They fall big time to Bozeman. Bozeman picked up a huge win, being able to move to 1-1 on the year. Vernon still looking for that first victory. Osceola Christian moves to 2-0 with the big win over, that's Patula Charter. I think I got the wrong name sitting up there, but they're a big winner, 33-12. And then the Childs Timberwolves right the ship after a tough outing in Dothan, Alabama. They go to the Peach State, take on Pelham, and they're a big winner, 55-27. And T-Wolves able to kind of show their fangs a little bit. Gerald Clark had 9 carries, 87 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and a big win for the Timberwolves. And then Trevor Jacobs, 8 catches, a touchdown, and 136 yards for Childs. So big win for Coach Reagan's. We got some other scores here. Man, there's a lot going on. We just made it to the second page. Chipley, big win over Linden, Alabama, 24-18. And then Franklin County, man, Seahawks 2-0 with a big win over Bell, 12-7. And man, Coach Cooper really has his group galvanized. Sadiq Jones, 6 carries, 94 yards, 78-yard kickoff return for a TD, and then Tamarian Carr, defensive back, had 8 tackles, an interception, and a sack. So great work for Franklin County. As we try to move it along here, Freeport falls to J, 6-34. Florida High, man, not used to seeing the Seminoles start out like this, but man, they just went up against one of the Peach State juggernauts. Thomas County Central, really just one of those formidable opponents right now as the Noles fall 63-28. Then we have Gadsden County taking on McCallie. Saw this one in person, and man, I could shout out a lot of names because it was a true effort, especially going down the stretch where I saw the whole team come together. Camarion Battles really had an outstanding game at running back, 18 carries, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, also had a reception for 20 yards. But man, Jags really just showed a lot of resiliency going down the stretch. At one point or another, McCallie had all the momentum going into the fourth quarter. And man, this team here over in Gadsden County just would not quit. Found a way to pick each other up on the sidelines and keep their head in the game, and came out of Tennessee with a win.
That was awesome. I watched, I'm watching stuff on the internet. I had my television on with Florida High. I had 5 games going on, and I'm trying to watch everything. But Gadsden County is one of the more impressive programs going on this year. And I guess we say that about all the guys that's 2-0, but the strength of schedule that Gadsden County plays against is some of the best competition around. And you got to recognize this team here, they can go a long ways in the playoffs. I'm not putting them in the state championship yet, but you're going to have to bring your A game if you face up against these guys.
Yeah, really. They've got a big contest coming up this week, but we'll get into that in a moment. Jefferson County getting that first win on the year as they edge Lighthouse Christian 23-22. Big win for the Tigers there. McClay winner on the road as they take down Brookwood 42-17. And then the Raiders on Southside at home in the Dead Sea take out Eastside 30-23.
Are we talking?
I'm leaving you room to jump in and talk about your album.
We really don't have to say much about it. I watched that game also. The Raiders were in control of that game from beginning to end. It really it was closer than the score is telling a closer game, but it really wasn't. You knew just from watching it after the first quarter that the Raiders were going to take that game. And I was impressed with what I saw. And I'm not putting them in the playoffs yet, but we got a good chance of going.
There you go. If they can keep Henry healthy and they keep running the ball like they are, they're going to be fun to watch, and they're going to keep it rolling. So I'm liking Rick. And we talked about it. Rick does the best work when nobody's talking about him. And right now, they're at the table right now and they're eating.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ben Henry, 16 of 24, 278 yards, 4 touchdowns, four. That's gonna get your name called out. 10 carries, 52 yards, and then Tariq Walker led that Raider defense, 14 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, an interception for the Raider defense. So that's the kind of production that we used to seeing. I know Quentin Lewis, defensive minded guy, loves the offensive side, but that defense, I know he was definitely proud of that at home at Ricketts High School. So big win for the Raiders. Sneeze still looking for that first win as they fall to Seminole County 13-38. South Walton also looking for their first dub on the year as they barely get taken out by Fort Walton Beach 9-7. St. John's Paul takes a step backwards as they get bested by Providence 35-18. Walton falls to Crestview 21-28, and rounding out the 4Q ReWind is Weewa Hitchcock looking for that first win on the year as they fall to Branford 28-14. And guys, we're seeing it. We're seeing teams really trying to establish themselves, but man, all those teams that are 2-0, they're really making some noise right now, and we got some surprises in the mix too as we jump into the schedule for week number 3. So let's go ahead and get into it. Man, I really like a lot of these games. I wish I could start hitting up a couple of them, but man, when you look at how, the schedule really, really plays out, there's just a lot here that, man, it's hard for me to pick. But Jupe, I like the games to watch that you sent over. I think I've got a lot of games here that kind of match up pretty nicely, but let's go ahead and get into it. Gaston County taking on Godby. Man, and the Jags don't have a lot of home games this year, so this one's going to be a big one.
Oh, you want me to pick?
I'm not forcing anybody to pick, but man, it's hard to go against Gaston County with what I saw last week, and I love my school. But I do know that, with the size and the how impressive they were on the defensive front, taking out state champion last week. I think Godby's going to have their hands full. But I definitely like what Godby was able to do last week. But man, I think, man, the Jags may have the edge on this one playing at home.
Yeah, I'm with the Jags on this one. Very impressive program. They got some great players over there. Coach Eddington is doing a great job with these guys. And the strength of schedule is the most impressive thing to me. They go to Georgia. They don't care. They go into Tennessee. They don't care where they play. They'll beat you on your home field, and now they get an opportunity to play at home. I got the Jags on this one.
Yeah, Havana's going to be rocking them with the Jags too.
All right, Charles. T-Wolves hosting the Wakulla War Eagles at home. Man, I push.
I don't know.
I think the War Eagles are definitely. I think that loss from last week has definitely left a bad taste in their mouth. I think they're going to be out for a little bit more than just what's going to be your lazy Friday afternoon football game. I think they're going to be bringing it. They might be young, but man, Charles is definitely looking to extend that streak on their own home turf. Man, this was hard to call.
Mark, you got to make a pick. You can't. You can't
push.
Pick.
Push.
Since it's in Wakulla, I'm gonna go with Wakulla.
No, this was. I think this was gonna be at Charles. Let me double check the schedule. Make sure I'm right.
When I always think the last team on the right is well, whoever the home team, that's who I got.
I think it is. I think you're right, Mark. I think it is.
Yeah, I got Charles hosting, so that's what Max Prep says. So I'm rolling. I'm still push. I don't overlook the War Eagles. Too much talent, but man, so a child. They match up very well. Just given the talent on both sides of the ball.
Mark. They're not gonna say nothing if you're wrong. It's not that you're wrong.
Yeah, let's go with color. I'll jump in there. We'll color.
Lincoln, John Paul, Thursday night. Lincoln hosting. I think the Panthers gonna have their hands full.
They're gonna have more than their hands full playing the Trojans. Trojans. That's an easy pick.
Yeah, it's hard to go against 38-38. Looking at what I saw at Boo Hill last Friday, that was a dominant win. Defense was looking like the old Lincoln defense that I'm used to seeing. Man, it's going to be hard to go against the Trojans.
Thursdays are weird, but I got to go Trojans too. I think JP2 is going to keep it interesting, though. They got some size in the trenches. The new quarterback can sling. I like the DBs.
Yeah, I really like John Paul's quarterback. G5 is what they call him. But, Lincoln may just have a little bit more. They might just have a little bit more oomph on the defensive side and plenty of weapons too. Man, I think John Paul's going to be slinging it. But, man, I think the Trojans might come out with the edge on this one. Franklin High hosting FAMU High. And I didn't think, but I got to go with the Seahawks on this one.
Oh, man. I'm going with the Baby Rattlers, man. Hey,
it's on the beach now. It's on the beach.
And it's really on the beach. I mean, you can walk across the street and get in the water.
Yeah, you really could.
But I'm going with the Baby Rattlers. Competition level been a little higher, so I'm going to hope that they can come out. There's no way I can go against them.
I want to see how far Franklin can take this one. Give me Franklin at home.
Yeah.
Man, y'all going against Coach? Golly.
Franklin County's got something special right now. I really like the talent level they're at. And, FAMU High still, talent is there. The numbers are there, but they're still trying to put some things together. It might take them a little bit. I think Franklin might be on more of an upswing right now. Chipley hosting Rutherford. Man, I really liked what I saw with Rutherford in that triple overtime loss, but man, the Rams were right there. This one on the road for them, as Chipley will be hosting. Tigers looking really sharp right now.
Oh, man, I'm going with Chipley. Another tough game for Rutherford.
I think this is the hardest one to pick on the schedule. I like Chipley's defense, but to me, this is the closest you can get for a tough one. I'm going to go Chipley, but I think it's going to be a really fun matchup. Rutherford's tested. I'm hoping they can get enough of those points because they feel like a team who could compete in the playoffs from what we've seen the first 3 weeks. So I'm not putting them in there, but, it'll be a fun matchup.
If this one was in Panama City, I might swing a little bit different, but man, Chipley by a score. Might be 3, might be 7, but I give Chipley the edge. Meanwhile, also down in Panama City, Bozeman, Arnold, man, I'm going Marlins. I'm not sure what. But you got to think about this. This is Coach Griffin going up against his former school. So, man, there's a lot there. I know he's going to see a lot of his former players and some of those young guys. But yeah, I really like the way Arnold's been playing. They've been playing big and they've been getting the job done. I'm going Marlins on the road too. So that's going to be a big one.
Yeah, Mark, this is kind of a crazy game because he just left Bozeman and then Arnold is on a roll. And the kids, if you left my school, Coach, I'm trying to do the best I can do to make sure you're sorry. And I want to this should be a battle. It really
should be. It should be. I think this one will be a lot closer. But I do think that Arnold may have just a little bit of the edge right now, just with their particular play. I'm not sleeping on Bozeman at all. I think this one's going to be really close. But man, we'll have to see. I'm always looking to be proven wrong, so we'll have to see. Bay going up against North Bay Haven Tornadoes.
That was quick.
Oh yeah, Bay is due. Bay is due right now.
Yeah,
I think they're hungry for that first win. North Bay Haven still trying to put a lot of pieces together right now. I like the Tornado, and Bay is young and really talented, extremely talented.
I'm going with you. I'm going with Bay.
Yep, Bay as well. Also got Arnold, great secondary. Arnold, excuse me.
Yep. Holmes County hosting Walton.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, where you get all these games from? Man, it's a tough.
Hey, it's real in North Florida, man. This is real football out here, especially in the Panhandle. This is SEC style football. You're not gonna get any better than this. I'm not sleeping on anywhere else in the state. It's just this is different.
Man, that's a tough one. Well,
and Walton, don't pay attention to the record so much because they really I mean, that was a tough place to play. I think what is it, Mariana in week 1?
Yep.
Yeah, I push. This is my second push.
Mark, you can't
get 3. I get 3.
I'm calling for the upset of Walton over Holmes County. I think they're due.
I
don't know that this is an upset. This is Holmes County. That's not a cakewalk to go in there. So
I'm saying Walton is due. They play. The games are close. They put up a lot of points, and now they're coming in. And they right around the corner from each other.
Yeah.
On IT and make a couple things and make a left. You right there too. At Holmes County. So I'm going with. I got to go with Walton on this one.
Man, if we wrong, we're going to have to do some tall talking next week. We'll have some tall explaining to do next week.
Hey, I ain't playing. I can guess.
Liberty County at Port St. Joe.
That's a tight one. Hey, 2 teams look alike.
Let me double check to make sure who's hosting. Because I want to be. No, Liberty County is hosting, so that's a little error on the graphic, but we'll fix that. Liberty County at home, and Coach Williams said he feel like his team, the score notwithstanding, they were hanging with the other team, and he just said some things got away from. It's hard to tell sometimes. 35-0 looks like 35-0, but when you know your guys and you know what you got, that might be a sign of things to come because the ball could bounce either way. But man, this is hard. This is another tough matchup. Port St. Joe, Lil Young on certain sides of the ball. Man. I'm going with the dogs. I'm going with the dogs at home. I'm gonna step out there and I'm gonna say I believe in you, Coach Williams. You told me, you said it. You said you felt like this team was ready, and I'm gonna rock with the dogs on this one.
Well, I don't know much about Liberty, but I'll go with them since they're home.
I'll go the other way. Give me Port St. Joe.
Okay. Somebody had to do it. Somebody had to do it. It's really a toss-up. I feel like Coach Jones could have his team galvanized in a week or two. They say you do your most growing between weeks 1 and 3. So we could see a totally different performing Port St. Joe team and just throw out the records. So this is going to be interesting. Liberty County, McClay.
What do you mean?
Excuse me. My bad. Mariana, McClay. We got to fix that graphic too. But Mariana hosting McClay. Man.
I don't know. Really, that's a tough. McClay been on the road, and I mean on the road. They've been all over the world. And Mariana's been playing great ball. They got an explosive offense. That's a game I really, really wish they had in Tallahassee. So we beat it, but I think it's gonna be tough to beat Mariana. It is tough because they got a great running back, they got quarterbacks, they got players all over the field.
McClay's playing big. They're playing great ball right now, but you got to figure out how you're going to contain Amari Clemens.
I'm gonna go Mark because McClay is our school. I'm going push.
This is really I really do think this one's a push. I could easily see this game going into overtime. Grant really excelling at the quarterback position, but again, on the other side of the ball, you got Clemens in that Mariana defense has been playing well too. Yeah, this one really might be. I could definitely see this one coming down to the wire in the fourth quarter.
Go ahead and make a pick, Mark.
Give me the Marauders. Give me the Marauders. I'm gonna step out on the limb.
Wow, now that was wow.
We could be next door neighbors, Mark, but I'll be on the other side of the fence. Give me Mariana. That run game is mean. It could be 50-43 like they had with Walt.
It really could.
You got Grant on one side, you got Clemens and Mays on the other. It might get out of control as far as the scoreboard's concerned. But that run game, that line is so mean.
Yeah, I give McClay some bonus points because they've been on the road and they've gotten acclimated to being in a road environment. But Mariana is such a tough place to play. That's a difficult environment to go into and win. So yeah, I definitely think there's going to be fireworks offensively, but man, this one's going to definitely come down to, I think, who still has the gas in the third quarter, because you're going to be chasing after a lot of dudes. So
I agree with you on that. Great matchup, man. Some great games you picked.
Yeah, Mosley hosting Rickards. This is the first big road test. Dolphins look absolutely formidable at home. I think I got to go Mosley on this one.
You asking me to pick? I'm going with Rickards. No way I can go.
Standing on business. I like it.
There you go. I'll break the tie, Mosley.
Oh man.
Yeah, Mosley looks like a dangerous playoff team right now. Rickards looks good. I just look at you got to take into the factor that it's on the road. So
I talked to Coach Lewis this during media day, and he said something that surprised. He said he really, really likes his team better than anyone he's ever had. And he like it because these guys are very coachable. They're young, they're athletic, and they get after. He never has to push them. They're ready every time they hit the field. So I'm going with the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm all for being proved wrong. I just, what I've seen of Mosley thus far, they look like maybe it has more so to do with just your offensive firepower or whatever. But man, this one being at Panama City, Mosley, I don't know. Rickards might have their hands full. We'll see. We'll definitely see. Chipley hosting Rutherford. I think we already went over this one. Let's drop down. Swanee, Madison County. Cowboys took a tough L at home. Swanee, man, that first game opening up with Columbia and then finally getting the dub against Lafayette last week. I don't know. I think Madison might have the edge in this one. I think I'm going to go Cowboys.
It's a game in Boot Hill?
No, this was down in Live Oak.
Wow. Man. I'm going with the Cowboys. I think they'll pull it out.
Yeah, I'm a numbers guy. I was reading the history books. I got to stick with it. Madison, get the streak going again. Swanee broke it a couple years ago, but I like Cowboys.
Yep. We were Vernon. Both teams looking for their first victory. We were scrappy, and they traditionally have been kind of scrappy. I'm going Gators at home.
Well, I'm going with Vernon.
Okay.
Just to be different.
Just to be difficult.
I talk to the coaches.
Hey.
Conversation.
There you go. I like it. I'm going to go with Mark on this one. Home team, that wing tee, that run game at home. Liking it.
Yep. Osceola hosting Trenton. This is not the Trenton of old. This is Trenton 2024. So, man, Osceola is just they have been able to do so much with just the numbers. I really like what I've seen. I'm looking forward to what I think might be a closer game, but I like Osceola at home.
I got Osceola.
Until I see further, I got to keep going with him. Make it 3.
Yep. Lafayette going up against Brookwood. Brookwood winless. Lafayette 1-1 on the year. I like. Yeah, give me Lafayette. I like the fact that they get Brookwood at home. Yeah, rolling with Lafayette.
I agree with you. I'm going with Lafayette.
Yep, go clean sweep. Rolled week 1. Tough game with Swanee week 2. I think they bounce back, get Brookwood here.
Yep. All right. We all agree. That's the first time in 9 games. Florida High at home, brand new bleachers. Florida High field kind of redone for this contest, going against Hawthorne. Hawthorne 2-0. Florida High a little bit embattled, but they have played. Man, their schedule has been up there with Gaston County as far as I'm concerned. But I like the Seminoles at home. Give me the nose.
That's a tough matchup for the Seminoles. Hawthorne is perennial state team. They're always good. Florida High have been struggling a little bit. I know the competition is hard, but let's go with Florida High since they're home. So I'll go with them.
This is tough.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going for accuracy though, gang. Hawthorne was it 3 state title appearances? I think 3 straight. They got it going. Coaches really turned it around down there. I hate to do it. I hope they get me wrong, but I got to go Hawthorne.
It is what it is. Leon hosting Gainesville. Both teams 0-2. Give me the Lions.
I'll take Lions and home team.
And that's at Leon High School. So this is gonna be this is gonna be one where I'm like, yeah, I don't like saying it, but go as a Cougar, I'm not used to saying it, but go Big Red.
I'm pushing for the Lions because the head coach had the privilege of being his first coach when he started playing football. And the kid is a great guy. William Mosley is a great guy, and he deserves to get a winning start things winning there. He's at his home school. He love it. I'm going with the Lions.
Let's keep the trend going. All 3. I'll go Lions as well.
Wow.
All right, cool. All right. We almost were in agreement, but we rocking out on Leon on this one. Taylor County at Dixie County. I'm rocking with the Bulldogs. I'm going with Coach Braswell and his bunch. I think they go to 3-0.
I'm with you, Mark, on that one. I'm going with Taylor County. They rolling. Go ahead. I got the pick. I can't see Dix County is not the team it's been in the past. I think Taylor County gonna handle business.
Yep, let's do it again, boys. Taylor County.
We can't all
keep it going. Keep it going.
They're hot right now, so some going on down there in Perry, Florida. But I'm liking the Bulldogs in this one too. So we got Taylor County over Dixon County, and then rounding out the schedule, NFC on the road at Indian Rocks Christian down in Largo, Florida. Give me the Eagles. Give me the Eagles.
I used to battle NFC all the time when I was coaching, but I'm gonna have to pick this time. Hoping Coach Nichols get things rolling.
Yeah, defense stepped up big. Could be low scoring again. I'll go ahead and see as well.
What? Oh man, something wrong.
Yeah, we're gonna get all these right. We can't agree. That's not.
They're gonna be gunning for us when we put the episode up. So we really stuck our necks out there. But hey, it is what it is. We standing on business here at 4 Quarters Online. Man, this is a great slate of games. I'm really looking forward. We got quite a few teams off this week. Cottondale is off. Bluntstown is also off, taking some much needed rest. Hamilton County off. Also Jefferson County. They're going to get a chance to rest up and heal up. And I think that will do it. No, South Walton also off. So we got about five teams that are taking their open week and going to enjoy that rest. Probably go scout some other teams. And that will also do it for the Extra Point this week. Man, we got some great games on the slate. This one took a lot longer than usual, but we had to talk about it. We had to get into it. So definitely sticking our necks out there with the picks. But man, it was a great week number 2, and I'm looking forward to an exciting week number 3. You guys headed anywhere? Where you guys gonna check out?
I would love to go to Marietta. I would love to do that.
Guess a car hit on out there.
It's just an intriguing matchup to me. Pass versus the run. I want to see that'd be interesting. Gaston County playing who?
They're playing Godby.
I knew that's why.
And I'm always gonna root for the blue and white. I'm back in my school. I'm hoping they can pull out the upset, but man, that I as much as I enjoyed, the win last week over Leon, just as an alum, man, this is a tall order, and Kamarion Battles really looks the real deal. So I'm hoping the Cougar defense step up, prove me wrong, man, really get after it. But that's me as an alum, but me as analyst, 4Quartersonline, man, it's hard to go against what I saw last week.
What you think, Juke? You tell me, which one is the best matchup?
Yeah, I need a couple coin flicks. I don't know where I'm going, Mark. I got to see the spread, just too good. I had to bring it up, Mark, because 2 weeks ago we were right here. You said, I don't turn my back on Tharp Street for nobody. 2 weeks later, he's picking the Jags against the Cougars.
I am still, I am still Tharp Street. It's Tharp Street versus everybody else. That's me without the shirt on. But I really honestly, I think that the way Godby played, man, that was such an improvement from week number 1. And that was a really hard fought game they had against Rickers, working out the kinks. Coach Holston has that team looking like what I'm used to seeing at Godby. I would not be surprised if the Cougars pulled it out. Anything can happen, but Gaston County at home, I think that gives them just a slight edge, but doesn't mean anything bad on Godby. I just, everybody want to hold my feet to the fire this week.
Of course, who didn't know you was gonna pick up? I mean, you picked them against Rickers. We never talked about it, but I think they lost.
It was a single point. Had the extra point gone for, we'd be having a whole different conversation.
100 years from now, what are they gonna say? Win or loss? It was a loss. It don't matter how many points.
100 years from now, we'll be talking to each other on the other side of glory.
I'm just talking about the L's and W's. L's and W's, baby.
So, yeah, I don't know. I really like all of the games to watch, man. It's really hard to pick just one, but man, Friday night is always going to be Friday night, and I think Lincoln and John Paul kick it off on Thursday night. So, great slate of games, and that will do it for this week's edition of the Extra Point. Not sure if I'm going to edit some of this stuff out because I don't want to be dogged this week, but man, we're going to stand on business with our picks, and we will catch everybody next week. On behalf of 4Quartersonline and the Extra Point, I'm Mark Adams, my 2 tag team partners, Coach Cofield and Andrew Juke. We'll catch everybody again next week.